Okay, hello, how are you? Fine, are you still awake? I will finish you with this subject. I hope not to bore you. Okay, first of all, thank Takis for inviting me. It's a pleasure. And also it's a very special day for me because this is my first international speak. This is my first English speak, so I'll try to do it well and not to bother you as I told you. So, to take off all these nerves, I will drink a little bit of raki, who Maki brought to me. Thank you, Maki. Cheers. Now it's hidden, it's water. So the foundation does.
I have to test just to make sure. It's
Taste it.
it's water.
It's water. Anyway, I love raki. Okay, out of jokes. I want you to be honest, and I want to know who of you sees this diagram for the first time. Please don't be shy, raise up your hands. Come on, really? Okay, now you have in your hands a photocopy of this diagram. Technically, it's called diagram of entity relationship, and this is the WordPress database. And I'm here, and my goal, my objective is to explain you. No, maybe explain is not the right verb. Not also describe. I'm here to confess you that I'm in love with the WordPress database. Yes, you heard well. I'm in love with the WordPress database. And why is that? Because I spent so many hours in front of her. Look at her, full of tables, columns, indexes. She's gorgeous, right? Can you see it? She's gorgeous. But there's also a sad part of this story. When I turn back and I saw her and I see her, it's only a database. She's not human. I can't invite her to have dinner or to go out for dinner or something, and that's the bad part. But anyway, we have such a great time together. For example, I will prove you. We went together to Milano, she and I in front of the Duomo. Here we are, she and I in Santander. And the best of it, we have yesterday a great party with Takis. But this story begins so many years ago, more or less 7 or 8 years. When I first saw the database, I immediately loved it. Now you can see 12 tables, but when WordPress, in the first version, it only has 9 tables, nine of them. And with all the time, became in 12 tables. But one of them, it's useless. It's already deprecated. And that is the WP links. You can follow me in your papers, watching the tables. This table is not useful anymore. It used to be used when the website has this page, you know, with the favorite links. Now it's old-fashioned. It's not useful anymore, but it still exists to keep compatibility with older versions. That's it, nothing else. So, what is the anatomy of a table? How is it like? A table is just a bunch of columns gathered all together, and each column has its own data type. A column can be a string, can be an integer, can be a datetime, can be a Boolean value. And also, the table store indexes. If you don't know what indexes are, I'm going to make you an example. So, I need a volunteer. Please remind me your name. What?
Vangelis.
Vangelis, like the musician. Yeah, good. Okay, Vangelis. I have a book here. Makis brought me this book. Thank you, Makis. And I will ask you to give me a number, a random number. 7. Okay. Here's the user. I'm the database engine, and here's the information. So the user is asking for the information in the page number 7. If this book has not indexes, I will try to search it this way. Okay, I can do it without two hands. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and this until I find the page number 7. This is ridiculous, it's too slow. And also it takes a lot of resources from the server. But if we put some indexes to this book, for example, a number in the bottom of the page, or the first page with the chapters, the search will be much faster. Another number.
18.
18, come on, it's a kid book. It doesn't have 18 pages. Between 1 and 5.
Okay, 4.
Okay, 4, the last. Boom, I got it. The page number 4, and that's thanks for indexes, just like table has. Thank you, Makis, for the book. That's it. So, how does a table look when it's horizontally? It looks like an Excel spreadsheet. It's the same, it's nothing but that. We are seeing here a small example of the WP post table. And it's really simple to understand. We have a first column that it's the ID. It's a unique number. It's like your DNI. I don't know if your document number. It's the same. Every single row has a unique number to be identified quickly. And then you can see we have dates, we have a post title, we have the Slack name, and 2 more columns that I will explain in a few seconds. Why I love the WordPress database? Well, I have so many motives why do I love her. The first of all is because she's rebel, like this girl behind me. And why she's rebel? Have you heard in the university or maybe at school what is normalization of data tables? Yeah? Have you heard about this word? Okay. When you are in the university, the teachers try to explain you this process. It's a 5-step process that tells you how to structure a database to avoid some typical problems we always have. What are those problems? Well, data redundant, unnecessary updates, and data integrity problems. We'll see each one of those. Don't worry if you don't understand. So don't ask me what is that. First of all, let's make an example. We have a table, a student table. I took the names from the attendees list. So please, if you see your name there, that's why. We have Anastasio from Greece, Juan from Argentina, Marcelo from Argentina, Eleni, Evangelos. It's really simple. But we can see in this small example that we have redundant information. Why do we have to write all the name of the country? This is a small example, but what happens if we have 1 million records of this table? That with such amount of information on the server, it's too costly. You can see it there. But let's make it even worse. That's the problem. Now, we want to add to that table the name of the president of that country. So now we have another extra column with more information. We have, I will try to say it, Prokopis Pavlopoulos. It's right? Well, Prokopis Pavlopoulos, Mauricio Macri is the first president called Mauricio in Argentina. I'm so proud. And Mariano Rajoy from Spain. So, this is worse. We have more information on our tables, but there's another problem. What happens if we want to change a president, if we want to change all the information? Let's choose, for example, one president. I want to change this one. Unfortunately, I can't make any joke about political stuff. So, well, that will take this query to change one president in all that table. It takes a lot of resources to change one simple data information. And that's the second problem. The third one, it's a little bit more, it's hard to explain. I will leave it for Maurice. So, how it looks like a normalized table. In this case, we have to separate the tables into two of them, and you can see the relationships. We add the country ID and a separate table with countries, and they are connected through these numbers. You can see it. So for example, Anastasios, his country is Argentina, that is wrong, and his president is Mauricio Macri. So if you want to change a president, the only way is to change that value in there, and nothing else. Those are the foreign keys. So why did I say that WordPress is rebel? Isn't she respecting these rules? Yes and no. You can see here, in one of the most important columns in the WP post, we have a redundant information, and that is the post type. We can have millions of records, and each one of them tells this record belongs to a post, this record belongs to a menu, or whatever post we are doing. And also in the term taxonomy, we write directly in this column the name of the taxonomy. We can have category, we can have tag, those are the both that are for default in WordPress installation, but we can have any taxonomy we want, and it will be written right here in this column. That's why WordPress is rebel, and that really shocked me when I saw it in the first time. And all because of query speed. That's why. It's to make the queries faster and faster. I will do a live testing. I don't know if you, I really love live testing, even when they went wrong. I will try to do it quickly. Okay. For this example, I have a WP post, a standard from WordPress, and then 3 tables normalize. 3 tables to normalize that one. Yeah, I will show you the structure. So as you can see, WP post has some columns from the original table, and then I have the WP is normalized with the foreign keys. I'm sorry, it's too small. I hope you see it. And then in this table, I have 100,000 records for each one of random information. So first of all, I'm going to search all the records from the WordPress table. Let's see how it takes. Okay, we can see here in a really small number that it took 1 millisecond, 0.6. 1 millisecond, 0.6 to retrieve 100,000 records. How much will it take to retrieve the same amount of records, but in the normalized way? Let's try it. One hand, only one hand. And here we go. Boom, 2.5. Okay, 2.5 because it's not cached. 2.2, 2.2, 1.6, 2.2. It's so much slower. And this is just a simple example of 100,000 records. That's it, and only 4 or 5 columns. You can see how slow it is. And then, if we translate this to a graphic, it goes like this. Like this. The WordPress table, not normalized, is 33.333 infinite faster than the normalized table. So that's why she's rebel, and that's why I love her too. So have you heard about this number? WordPress is power the 27% of the website today. And that's because another useful feature it has. And it's because she's flexible. She's flexible. This is the first database structure I found that you can do whatever you want. Any business, any business. You can do from a bank to a pet shop. Of course, there is no bank using WordPress for the accounts because there are some things behave. But theoretically, you can use it with the same structure and it will work. And all that is because the key value structure that it's inside those tables. Anthony's told something about it, so you will see some pictures. Let's start with the WP post. This is the heart of WordPress. This is the main table. Okay, we have some example here, some rows from this table, and I will give you just a quick introduce. As I told you, this is the first column with the ID. This is like the personal number. We have the title, the content. This is if the post is published, if it's still draft. And this one tells us what is this post about. It can be a post, it can be a page, it can be an attachment, or it can be a custom post type. So the question is, where's the rest of information? Because we find a lot of posts with extra fields, right? So where is it stored? They are stored in the meta tables. Meta tables. Please remind these meta tables. They are really important. And we have 4 of them. We have WP post that you will find in your papers, and next to it, the W post meta. We have the users, the user meta, and we have the comment and the comment meta, and the term and term meta. This last one was introduced recently, I guess in the 4.3 version. It's really new. And how does it work? Well, really simple. We have our header in WP post, the main structure, and then we can add all the fields we want on the WP post meta table using the foreign key, as I told you with the students. It's the same logic. So we have the post number 1, and we make this relationship, and we can have all the fields we want. When I started working in IT, I had to create every single table for every entity I was asked. If I want a student, I have to create a specific table for student. If I was working account, I had to create tables for account. With this structure, I use the same table and this structure, and I can do whatever I want because I have no limits. This table can grow vertically, not horizontally. And the same for users. It has its own table meta. We have seen the relationship, the foreign key. The same, we have a user, and then we can add to him or to her all the fields we want. And you can see the key value structure. There's the key, there's the value. Another thing I love about her is that she is organized. She knows where to store each thing. So for example, we have the option tables. What is useful? Well, we can store in the option tables all the main settings of our website, of our application. We store right here. Plus, all the plugins and all the themes store their data in this table. So I guess you could see in this table a lot of tractions. Have you heard of it sometimes? No? Well, it's one useful thing you have to do when you develop a plugin or a theme and you uninstall them is to keep this table clean. If you uninstall a plugin, you should add the code to delete all the trash he leaves in this table. And then you can see again the key value structure. Let's talk about taxonomies. She's adaptable. She can adapt to every single taxonomy we want. And maybe this is the most normalized part of the database. It's only 4 of all the 12 tables you have there. And it's really simple. Don't be scared about it. We have the first table, WP terms, that it's only useful to store all the terms we have. There's nothing else but names, and that's it. We have the name down there, and then the slug. But it doesn't tell us anything. It could be a category, it could be a tag, it could be a gender, it could be whatever. So where do we say what is that? Well, in this relationship, in the WP term taxonomy. And using the relationship, we can say that the term ID number 1, that is no category, it's a category. General, that has a number 2, it's a category. News, that is number 3, is a category. And international, that is number 4, it's a tag. It's really simple. It's really simple. The most important thing, it's easy to talk to her. And that's good. The language we have to talk with the database is SQL. Do you know what it means, SQL? We see it a lot, but do you know what it means? Structured query language. And what is that structured query language? How do you eat it? Well, it's really simple. It's just this structure. It's just a query, and you can see it. I want to select everything. Asterisk mean everything. Which columns do I want? Yeah, you gather all the columns. From where? Okay, take it from this table, from WP Post. And do you want to filter? Yes, of course, filter that information. Only bring me those rows with the title WordCamp Athens 2016. Is it necessary to learn SQL to make our websites, to make our plugins? And the answer is really simple. No, it's not necessary to learn SQL. You can do it without knowing every single line of it. And why it's not necessary? Thanks to WordPress, it has a lot of functions that help us to talk with the database. For example, we have this function, getPost, that brings all the information from the WP Post table, and we only have to know this function, getPost. It's really simple. Hey, database, getPost, which one? The number one. That's the parameter that's there. And what WordPress does below, does this. Translate that function in a language that the database understands. So, bring me all the columns from the WP Post table where the number ID is number one. And please, bring me only one row. It's too simple. But what happens if we need to get all the extra file we have in the meta tables? Don't worry, WordPress has a lot of function for us. As I told you, Post has post meta table. So, bring me a post, bring me the meta of the post. User, bring me the user, and bring me the user meta. Comment, and bring me the meta comment. Term, give me the meta from the terms. And you don't have to write no line of SQL. It's already in there. And for more complex searches, because we have sometimes some projects that are really difficult to get the data from the database. Well, WordPress had a class that is really useful, and it's called WP Query. It's like magic. If you ever use it, you'll love it. Maybe it's a big class. Maybe you get a little fear when you see it for the first time, but go to the codex. The codex is the holy grail. Don't be fear of it, read it. In this page, you will find all the parameters you need to know to talk to the database directly. And it's really simple, and I will show you how. For example, I want to retrieve from the database, all the posts that are written by me. I'm Mauricio Gelves, and those posts must be published. It's really simple to read, right? So, bring me in this variable all that query that is here in this variable, in this array. What does WordPress below? It turns in this SQL statement, this SQL query. This is really hard to learn for a non-developer. But this one, everybody can read it, or everyone can do it. Let's go to a next level. What if I want to use my own tables? And why should I use my own tables and not use the default that WordPress makes for me? There are some reasons. One of them is the efficiency. For every single row we retrieve from the WP Post, we have to make what is called inner joins. Inner joins are the relations we have made on the previous example, and that takes a lot of resources from the server. It's really expensive. So we try, in some example, in some project, we have to avoid that and to make our own table. It's not always all the time, but sometimes it's useful. Another way is when we have to make a calculated field. For example, I need the average of sales from the first semester. And that's really expensive too. Another thing is the space. in the WP's post table, there are a lot of columns that aren't used. So they are blank, and they are occupying some space in the server. We have to avoid that too. And this is the most important, is because of security. If we are going to store very sensitive information in our WP post or WP post meta, you have to think that those tables are shared with such amount of plugins out there. And we can be sure about our security, but we can rely on the security of other plugins. So our information is in risk. I repeat, this is not quite often. It's only for specific projects that need a custom table, but these are the risks. How to create a custom table in a plugin or in a theme? Well, first of all, you have to create that table with SQL. I'm sorry, but there is no helper in here. There is something like this. Don't worry, it's too much code. That code is to create a table. And then you have to use a class from the WordPress to implement that new table in the backend. So it looks something like this. It's just the same, like a post, like a page. That class is the WP list. I won't explain you how to do that because it's really hard. It takes some time. But I will share this slide, so don't worry about the URL. If you follow this blog, this article, they explain it really well. There's not so much information about this class, so give it a read to this article. So because of this and many more features the database has, I have to say that I'm really in love with her, and I hope you fall in love with her too after this talk. So thank you very much. My name is Mauricio. I'm a freelance software engineer. And I hope not to bore you. Thank you again.
You didn't bore us at all. Ερωτήσεις για τον Μαουρίσιο.
They are tired. I understand.
So in order to be in love with a database such as WordPress's database, okay. So you are in love with databases which are minimalistic. I mean, take the WP options table. You've got a name and a value. That's it. Is it that minimalism?
You can use the WP option for whatever thing you need. You can have a plugin that only writes one row in that table if it's useful. So yes, you can use whatever you want. You can be minimalistic. You don't need to create a custom table. As I said, the basic structure is useful to create whatever you want. The only thing you have to be careful is about the efficiency, the time response of the database. When you, for example, if you have to work a lot with date times, if you have to make a lot of search, for example, for appointments or reservations or things like that, it's useful to have a custom table. Otherwise, you have the date times in a vertical way, and it's really hard to get them. That's why.
Sorry. In order,
I forgive you.
yeah, okay. In order to query a custom table.
Can you speak louder, please?
In order to query a custom table,
Yes.
are you going to use WP query or something else?
Yes, of course.
Or native SQL?
Yes, you can use WP query. You can use WPDB. That's another class. Or you can use directly SQL. I don't recommend you to use directly SQL. But you can use the WPDB. It's another class.
It's, you type in query here. You
Sorry?
type in SQL here, I think.
Sorry?
In WPTB, you type SQL. You write SQL. You call SQL.
I don't understand you.
You write SQL command.
You have to write, yes, the SQL command down there, and then you execute it with the WPDB.
Yeah.
But I guess you can use both of them, both classes. I have a question down there. Don't make him sweat, please.
So So what you're basically saying is that if we want a small database, it's better to have it with keys and values. But if we want a big one, we want it all in one table, so it has better efficiency.
You will always have this structure because it's the default structure when you install WordPress. There is no way to have less table than this. WordPress needs this table. The thing is, what are you going to use? Come on, take this one.
I meant when you're making a custom table, you leave them alone. I mean a new one, if you want something small, key and value. If you want something big, make it one table.
Yes, you're right that if you make a custom table, it's alone. It's separate from the WordPress database, but you can use a join too. You can use a column, post ID, or an ID that it's a foreign key for the WP post, so it's connected. And yes, the disadvantage is that if your table needs to grow, you will have to add extra columns. You know, you come back to the problem I talked about earlier. Okay?
When to use custom post types and when to use a custom table?
Perfect question. It's working? Yeah, it's working. I will show you. It's really simple. Maybe this one, no. Yeah, I got it here. We use always the same table, WP post. And you see this column? That's the most important column, I guess, in the WordPress database, that it tells us what is this record about. For example, the record number 1, it's a post, when you write a post. The second one, it's a page. When you set page, add new page, it's stored in the same table, but with this difference, only that one. When you upload a new picture, it's also stored in the same table, in this one. You can see here a picture, and his post type is attachment. And then in the post meta, you have all the extra information about that post. But that's why it's useful, and you can do whatever you want because you use the same tables. You don't have to create new ones. You don't have to create new ones.
I think that the exact question was meant to be, when would you choose to use a custom post type, and when would you put your data in a custom database table?
Custom, okay. That was the question. It all depends on the project. As I told Takis, if you have to work with so many dates, you have to make a lot of management with dates for bookings, reservation, and things like that. It's easier to have a custom table. Otherwise, you will finish with long SQL structure to get the value from the table, and it's really hard to do it. So believe me, if you have to deal with that, with date times, sometimes it's useful to have a customized table. Sorry not to understand the question the first time. I have one question down there. Do we have time yet? Takis? Yes? Okay.
Is there any chance someone could create a custom post type? And if so, do we have to create another table for it to work?
If we need to create our custom post table in another table, is that the question?
A custom post type.
Yes, you have the custom post type in the WP post.
Yes,
Is that it?
Yes. Isn't there some sort of enum field that says the post types you can use are these, you know? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, not that much.
I think there is a specific number of post types, like you can use post,
No,
page,
there isn't.
attachment.
No,
Oh, there isn't. Okay, sorry.
You can use all the custom post type you want.
Okay, thank you.
As the server leaves you, you can do all the custom post type you want.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. No more question? Thank you again. Thank you again.